Robin.
Busy show. And, of course, once again, we got to say, yeah, bring in Andrew. Glenn Close was great, wasn't she, Jimmy?
Yes, there he is.
Andrew.
Andrew, how you been? Good?
Pleasure to meet you finally, sir. Andrew Breitbart in studio.
Yes.
All day, people have been correcting us. Is it Breitbart or Breitbart? We've been saying
It's Breitbart.
I said he said
Breitbart.
Breitbart. See, I know.
Why do
I
I
didn't
have to
say
have such a sexy name?
Yeah.
You've been everywhere lately. Holy shit.
I've got the sweat to show for it.
Yeah, you're just a sweaty guy.
In my undercarriage and other extremities.
Well, you've been like walking, I guess, back and forth from news place to news place and shit.
I'm such a pedestrian scandal monger.
Yeah.
Walking around the streets of New York.
Scandal monger.
Look. Yesterday, I was in every news studio from Matt Lauer, CBS, CNN. But I know how a news cycle works, and there's nothing new today.
Right.
So now I'm just going person to person on the street to tell them the story.
just one-on-one, and then something else will
Ask
break.
me anything.
Now we're seeing a lot more of these transcripts come out about Weiner. With the girl in Vegas, I guess.
The blackjack gal.
Yeah, the blackjack gal. And they are a lot more graphic with him talking about, his cock and I want to come inside that pussy, the wet pussy. He's really getting graphic.
Look, we need to go to America's English grad schools and create a new nomenclature for sex. I'm sick of that stuff. I mean, it's so cliche.
Doesn't it seem hack now?
We have to come up with some better dirty language.
Yeah. You bring up a great point because sometimes because obviously I've done my share of sexting and whatnot, and you just feel so hack. It's like, oh God, is your pussy wet again?
I can't. I've been with my wife since 1992. Where just going through Showtime, Movie Channel, and HBO and seeing a boob was my idea of what pornography was.
Yeah.
And to find out that we're in like pornography 75.0, I mean, it's like the stuff that people are doing to get off now blows my mind. I'm just walking and I'll see like the side of a boob, not the cleavage because everybody shows the side of the boob, and I'm done.
Yeah, that for you is still porn.
Yeah.
But you can go on the internet and really click, and within seconds you're seeing animals, fucking 15 on one.
Sure.
That's sure.
I didn't say I was against that.
No.
Well, it is, but he's in a better shape though because I'd rather not be desensitized. Like, because I have such a high threshold to get me off or whatever. But I would love to just see the side of a breast and still find that erotic.
I tell people, I tell young kids when I meet them, and I try and be their mentors. Said when I was a kid, there was a scene in a movie called Mischief, in which Kelly Preston, in this completely 1950s puritanical scene, this guy opens up her bra for the first time, and she has the most wonderful breasts in the world. I go, you have to see this, young men. You have to see that. Like that to me mattered. Like, or did you see Lisa Bonet and Mickey Rourke in Angel Heart?
Yeah,
the basics, and now we're into this film.
Not just fucking like back of the ball shot and.
I could name on my hand, on one hand, the scenes where I saw like the muff, and that was a special moment in a young boy's life.
It was
and now, right. I mean, we're seeing inner flappage at this point now.
Well, I remember watching Porky's, and you would see a shower full of girls. Obviously, no shaving going on back then, but it was like you breathed deep. Yeah, it was exciting.
But that was more.
That was over
enough.
the top for even.
And that was even more.
You got to go back to like Fast Times at Ridgemont
but to
High.
me, that was
Jennifer
porn.
Jason Leigh.
Yeah, get out of the pool.
Or Phoebe Cates coming out of the pool.
Here's a director trying to convince Jennifer Jason Leigh to take her shirt off. Jennifer, yes.
Does come across.
Thank you for asking.
But Phoebe Cates getting out of the pool shot where she opens
but that's
up
what I'm talking about. 101. Kids, go back to the basics.
Yeah.
Even the TV version of that scene's unbelievable, where she doesn't actually show the tits.
Yeah. Now, obviously, you've had some photographs and texts and stuff from Weiner. What were you feeling when you didn't think you'd get any vindication, and you were listening to him saying, you know, this is all pretty much bullshit.
And
I
the
was
press
hacked.
was trying. Look, we birthed the story. We made it past Memorial Day weekend. That was what they thought that they could get away with, was attack me on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and that the press would say, we're not touching this story because it's a toxic Breitbart story. This has been their tactic forever, and I will give credit where credit is due. CNN's Dana Bash, who's 8+ months pregnant, and her producer, Ted Barrett, who Weiner called jackass in that famous debacle.
Right.
Yeah, that to me was the turning point when anyone on the internet who has a brain, who was paying attention to this scandal, realized that this guy, you know, he went from hack on Friday night to, hey, it's a prank. It's a prank hack. It's a prank hack. I'm going to do a world-class self-investigation into my prank hack.
Self-investigation.
Yeah, right,
yeah.
exactly.
Don't bring anyone else in, please.
And I'm like going, okay, this isn't curious. This guy, on Friday night, after he posted it and unposted it, erased his entire photo cache at the Y-Frog account, and simultaneously the girl in Seattle is getting rid of her Facebook page and her Twitter page, and all these things are happening furiously, and I'm watching it. It's a cover-up, okay?
Right.
And the press is like, well, we're going to believe the unbelievable here. And it really was CNN's Dana Bash who like said, no, this doesn't make sense. And
when you called out the media and said, do your job. Your journalists do your job.
They never do. They're the worst.
We've talked about that.
They're the worst. They're the worst.
But you never get that moment of vindication.
They're not just the worst. It's the sanctimony that they swim in. You know, like when they lecture me, they're the worst fucking people in the world.
What sunk Weiner was using the word certitude, by the way.
Yes.
When he used the word certitude, I'm like, boy, is this not going to be good.
Well, right now, there's a whole bunch of dangling, as it were, things like the certitude thing, such as like he can't say with certainty that he didn't have communications with girls who are underage. What? You can't make that. I can. I really can. With certainty, I'm not talking dirty with underage girls. You're not? What other congressman can make that claim that they're not sure?
Not sure.
Yeah. How can there not be a Nancy Pelosi going, wait, you're not sure that you are not doing this type of stuff? You're not sure with young girls? I go, get the fuck out of here, you psychopath.
He's obviously done now.
Do you think he's finished yet?
Oh, yeah.
The transcript that we read today is a goof. It's really dirty, but it didn't show any sexual deviance other than what regular men think. But the underage thing will murder him.
That's rough for.
But also, as a politician, you can't get that part of you out there.
Right.
People aren't ready to accept their politicians as saying, "I want you to suck my hard cock."
Yeah. But I'm telling you, the photo that I have, which I'm not releasing,
right?
Congressman Weiner, if I had released that thing, you wouldn't have resigned. You'd been running like the road runner out of town. Okay? This thing is just the filthiest, narcissistic, blue boy, self-gay porn that I've ever seen.
And you used the word narcissistic. This guy loves the attention.
Oh, yeah.
Like that press conference that you obviously, wow, you were great at. His part of it should have been 2 minutes. Say your thing and get the fuck out of there.
You noticed that, too.
Oh,
40 minutes? I think it was 40 minutes.
I know,
what are you doing?
To say the same thing over and over.
Because he loves the spotlight and the attention, but all for the wrong reasons.
What about the photos? Is that the stuff that he's sending to these women, I didn't realize this until like I was 20. I wish somebody could go back to Andrew at 14 and go, they just want to be hugged. They just want to be told that they're pretty. Just simple things. Just like touch their hair, kiss them for 2 minutes longer than you want to. Okay? Just the basics, okay? They don't want to see a flaming hard cock. Okay? When you said that too, I'm sorry.
I hope you're wrong, because otherwise I've really upset a lot of people.
Now,
I've sent mine out to many folks, believe me.
But I want to say this obviously carefully. These pictures that there's rumors about, will they see the light of day?
I've said the only way that I can imagine putting it out, it's an insurance policy for the women. I watched what the Clintons did with Jennifer Flowers, Paula Jones. Those were women that he had affairs with, and people that he didn't, such as Kathleen Willey, who he felt up in the White House, and Linda Tripp, who they made fun of her looks and all that type of stuff. If in the pursuit of this investigation, and these women start coming forward, if he starts releasing information on them, starts showing their photographs for nefarious purposes as a means to try and intimidate them from coming forward or being forthright, fine. I have no problem with that. I hate bullies. I've always hated bullies. And if I start seeing these innocent women being brought into this and destroyed, I have no problem with putting it out. But I honestly do not want this thing out there. It really is going to degrade everything and everyone, including in her family. There's nothing societally to be gained other than a grotesque snicker at his expense.
And let me ask this too, though, because again, he is a congressman, and I have to my standards are different than his, so I get that he's in trouble for this. It was a dumb thing, but I do have a problem with the women, not for talking dirty to him, but for now all of a sudden coming out in droves, because what happens is, he's already admitted he screwed up. Sending that picture was enough. He screwed up. When they're releasing these chat transcripts, there is a morbidity to that. There is an attention seeking, and that's not helping a criminal investigation. It's not like he's being tried for rape or murder and they're releasing pertinent facts. This is morbidity on their part and voyeurism on their part. So it's like, I do kind of have a problem with them for piling on when it was a trusting between the two of them.
You're a sensitive cat.
No. But no. But you know what I'm saying? Their reasons are not necessarily pure for releasing their information.
Well, what's up with the Seattle girl? Did she have dirty talk with Weiner?
I have no idea.
Yeah, but
I have no idea.
He had no problem throwing her under the bus.
Did he throw her under the bus, though, or just say he didn't know?
He was,
he said something like he didn't know.
What I don't understand is he used the word that he sent it to her as a joke. Okay,
right.
So he's saying, I want to come on your forehead and all that type of stuff to everyone else, but with this girl,
right,
he uses his penis as a joke.
Right.
I'm like, so in this particular instance,
yeah,
he didn't want. I don't even understand that.
I don't either. The joke, it didn't wash.
He didn't know what. He didn't know what.
Yeah, I know. Hey.
Well, when it comes to this, he's not a smart guy.
Let's be buddies. Let's have beer together. When I'm in Seattle, I want to have beer with you. Let's go to a Mariners game.
Yeah, he's.
You're going to be my new best buddy. I just wanted to show you my funny boner.
He obviously was fishing. He threw the hook in the water to see if she might be into some of these games he was playing.
She's like, I'm taking off my shirt. No! Absolutely not. I want to go to the Mariners game with you. That was a funny boner.
Right.
Now, obviously, you have
other photos.
this insurance picture.
Prove you got this insurance picture.
No, can you, or would you describe it? Like, a lot of people are wondering what it is.
Give us an exclusive. We've helped out your website over the years, sir. You always for homeless Charlie, you know that.
Are we gonna get into that?
You always for that. Come on.
It is satellite radio, so you can be as graphic as you want.
There's a particular cinematic angle in which you're able to create the perception that something is larger than it actually is.
Forced perspective.
Yes. Okay, and then mostly, if I'm holding a camera and I'm looking down, you see something, but this guy somehow figured out how to do it from the exact opposite angle, looking up towards
bottom up.
Yes, here's what I would.
So it's like standing at the base of the Empire State Building with the camera facing up.
Here's what I would title
if
it.
Water was leaking off it.
If I were to title this, and I'm like a photo editor at the AP, and I needed to come up with a title for it, I would call it Two Balls, One Shaft .jpg.
Okay.
2 balls, 1 shaft.
2 balls, 1 shaft .jpg.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. From the undercarriage perspective.
And is he fully aroused in this photo?
Oh, he's an excited chap.
An excited chap.
Yeah. And I'm just talking. I think he's the most heterosexual guy out there. Okay, he really is. But he's definitely reading all the magazines that give him the tips that will cause the men to go, whoa, this is my kind of guy. I'm talking this guy, unless he has that hair disease where you don't have hair.
Oh, I got you. Yeah. Where it's
completely bald?
Not completely. Not
there might have been some shaving
a bunch of manscaping going on.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
manscaping.
This is Blue Boy circa 2000. Let me think. 4-ish. Blue Boy 2004.
And now, is there a face in it? Is there any other identifying?
It's the same torso.
Okay.
It's like it's the same.
There's no doubt.
The shadow of a nose on a wall.
Yeah.
And from
the whole point of all of these photos, and including the ones of him looking down. What a weird, grotesque facial expressions that he's making. They're like narcissism.
Very creepy.
Yeah, they're you know what? It's like American Psycho 3, the Congressman. It's just like, whoa, that's a gnarly look on your face, brother.
Yeah,
and that's it.
You think he practiced the look a few times until he got one he liked?
Yeah, he took a few shots.
Like, no, that's not it.
Look,
that's not it. Let me
the question is it him? On that one, it's so 99.999999999% because you don't see the head. But
yeah,
she says that he sent it representing it as such,
right.
And it's clear that he's not sending them to make her aroused or happy. He's trying to say, I'm 46 years old and I've got a body that any guy in Greenwich Village 25-year-old would want. Okay, that's what he's trying to say. It's a narcissistic thing. So why would he send a picture of a body double when he's trying to say, look at how great looking I am and what great shape I am? It would make no sense.
Well, it showed it showed really bad judgment at the very worst, at the very least, because what are you doing it from Rep Weiner or from sending it from your real Facebook? It's like, get a dummy account, you moron. What's the matter with you? Like, these are people who are vulnerable, especially if you're married and in an elected position. It's just dumb.
Yeah. Have you found out anything about his wife? And she wasn't by his side. And all these guys, we've seen the wife by the side.
Who's by his side? I mean, even when he was in the denial phase, and the press was trying to sweep this away, I'm thinking. And Dana Bash, I think, and Ted Barrett at CNN kind of figured out this as well.
Yeah.
Well, if he's an innocent, why isn't there anyone standing by him other than Charlie Rangel, when asked, and, oh, yeah, this guy's great.
Well, who was that? Was it
the Charlie Rangel stood by him.
Was it
you only
Reed
have Rangel on your side,
Yeah.
you're in trouble.
Was it Reed on the news the other day that was talking about how he's not...
Matt Damon's not even standing by him anymore. He pulled out of a fundraiser that he was going to throw for him.
He did.
Oh, for him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's the person I want to have to step down.
Yeah.
I'm going to get Matt Damon to step down next.
Step down as just
as whatever
as a human.
Yes.
Why? He's so in touch with the way most people think.
Hey, I got a really good question coming in from James in North Carolina. We got Andrew Breitbart on the show. James, go ahead.
Hey, Mr. Breitbart. Hey, boys.
Hey.
I'm just curious. I hear fervor and vigor the way you go after the left. Do you have this hard-on for conservatives as well? I don't quite hear that. I don't know your...
No, not really. No, I don't, actually. The difference between me is that the mainstream media are a bunch of lefties who masquerade as being neutral, and I think that this entire experience has shown that they're not. They did everything they could to cover up for a Democrat when they, with zeal, take down Craig and Foley, and this is what they do. And people come to me. If there is a picture of a Republican congressman, they're not coming to lowly Andrew Breitbart, who has a couple internet sites. They go to ABC, CBS, or NBC. So these people come to me because they know that the mainstream media is biased. Okay, and I think that we have to move towards a more honest media, like in the United. Let me finish my answer. We need to move towards a more honest media, like in the United Kingdom, where you've got the Telegraph and the Daily Mail. They're conservative, and then you've got the Independent and the Guardian, and they're left of center. I admit my biases here. Now, if Orrin Hatch came to me with if I had a picture of Orrin Hatch, Republican from Utah, with a raging hard-on, I guarantee you I would make it news because my news judgment transcends my partisanship and my being a conservative. I go, but what are you talking about?
But you'd be friggin' 10th person getting that picture. But it would be all over CNN and ABC and NBC.
I'm sorry. What a great point too, by the way, that you made is that he's honest about you lean right, but Fox is much more right leaning. But everybody knows they are. It's not a secret. Whereas the media does masquerade as being neutral when they're not. Fox at least is honest about the fact that they lean right. It is what it is.
I agree, but I just want to know you're okay. So you lean right. If as a media source, so if somebody came forth with information,
I just said that about Orrin Hatch.
Yeah, he did.
That gives you so much. I get a whole lot more respect for you right there. Because,
I hate these people, by the way. I live in Los Angeles. I love it when these corrupt bastards go down. I didn't buy into the Clinton. It's just about the sex. It's just about the sex. If you're out there peddling pictures of yourself to absolutely random people like I have a raging hard-on pic of a congressman, and I can't pay my rent. Don't you think that person could go to that congressman and say, do you see how hard he's fighting to keep his job now that this information is out here? My daddy wants you to pass the farm bill, and you're going to say no. I think you should say yes. You don't think that these people put themselves into blackmail situations on behalf of the American people? Republicans and congressmen. It's not just about the sex. You're putting the country at risk when you act like an asshole.
Wow. 100%. But why didn't you go after Bush when he claimed, the whole...
There weren't enough people going after Bush in the mainstream media? What the hell are you talking about? You needed one extra person in that pylon.
I'm talking about a neutral person who is actually honest, not bullshit media who's, as you said...
I just answered you. I liked Bush, by the way. I didn't think he was the devil. Why didn't you protect Bush when they compared him to Hitler? Why weren't you there to protect him from the Hitler
Goes
stuff?
Both ways.
All these wars. Barack Obama's waging these wars right now. I go, what?
I support anybody who's honest. And
all right, I'm honest. Then support me.
He's being honest, but he's being honest about what these liberal Democrats are doing. So what's the problem?
No. You were talking about Bush and why I didn't support
All right,
Bush.
so you're panicking.
We cannot get into a Bush argument.
Larry Craig, I was happy to see Larry Craig go because he legislates against gays, and I think he's very, very anti-gay. And it's like, if you're anti-gay, man, you better not be fucking tapping in the men's room.
And that was hilarious, by the way.
Right. I got a lot of material on that.
I love that. Right. I go, I love a good scandal. Excuse me, America.
How does this Weiner thing play out in your eyes now?
Oh, when
does he resign?
He had his value to the Democratic Party was to the Progressive Caucus. He was the most charming guy. They just loved how he was New York. He ran around with models and
energy.
Right, and all that type of stuff. And he had a cot at MSNBC where he'd go, Republicans are the worst. Republicans are the worst. Republicans are the worst. And so he was a bulldog and he was the charmer. I go, right now in both categories, he's toxic and toxic. They are going to come to him like Howard Baker in Watergate. They're going to go to him and they're going to, bye-bye.
Look, you're
out of here.
I don't care what you want to do.
Right. He is on a strictly pragmatic level. It is more beneficial for the Republicans for him to stick around between now and 2012.
Yeah.
Is he done for good, or do you think
he'll be the poster boy?
Will Spitzer come back? Because people love a good mea culpa. And if you come completely clean and time goes by, I wonder if Spitzer could possibly come back in some capacity now or in a couple of years. I mean, do you think, or is he totally finished?
Are you talking about Weiner?
No, I'm saying
Spitzer.
Spitzer at first.
Spitzer, maybe. Weiner.
Weiner's done.
Yeah, I also will say this to the guy in North Carolina. Is that media bias is everything to me. I've built an entire company on the presumption that the media will not cover with zeal a Republic, something that hurts the Democratic Party. It's just a purist axiom. But there's a huge asterisk next to this in Wikipedia now called, if your name is Weiner and you show your wiener, media bias cannot protect you.
That's true. God,
that's crazy.
They pile on once the story is too big to ignore.
That's so true. Yeah, you can't.
He got screwed by nomenclature.
By his name.
Hey, someone wants to know if you were disappointed that O'Reilly didn't ask a lot of good questions last night.
Oh, I thought he asked the best questions, and my answers were even better.
There you go. I think we see the picture eventually.
I don't know.
We're in the mop-up. We're in the mop-up phase,
so to speak.
The mop-up phase, yeah.
Yeah, I'm in a hazmat suit, and you should too.
Does he resign by the end of the week?
How long do you think? Yeah, just speculative.
He's got to be killed from the inside.
Is it Wednesday? Oh, thank God I orchestrated this on a Monday. For the slow burn. Oh, this poor bastard.
He's hoping for an earthquake or something.
Oh, yeah, I know. Yeah.
I'd love to know what he was thinking.
Argentina has not had a 7.3 in a long time.
I'd love to know what he was thinking when people went up to him and said, wow, Breitbart's out on your fucking podium giving a speech. It must have gone through his head to either put it off, not show up, but obviously he's too
I got a phone call from a network producer that was like, what the hell were you doing? Now he's not going to come up there. I'm like,
that's what people thought.
Yeah. I'm like, I was being surrounded. You can see it in the New York Times. In the corner. By about 50 reporters, and they started saying, go up on the stage, talk to the microphone, go up on the stage. And I'm usually not sheepish, but in this case I was. I was like, really? Do you think I should? Do you think? Oh, okay, fine, I'll go up there.
There's a legitimacy with that podium.
And I did not know until afterwards that this was being carried live. I just thought that some of those cameras would cut some of that.
They broke in.
Oh, that
they broke
freaked me out.
Everywhere.
People were calling me up and go, how did you maintain your calm and your poise up there? I said, I didn't know I was on live TV. I would have been
which makes it a lot different.
Yeah, I would have been completely frantic and a loser, if I knew that everyone was watching.
The other way you could see the edits in your head, like, they're not going to use that. But you're live the whole time.
I'll tell you Weiner's reaction when somebody said Breitbart is up at the podium. His first reaction, who?
But it goes back to the narcissistic thing. He couldn't help himself. He had to come out.
He had to come out there.
Can I tell you an idea that I have right now?
Let's go.
I want to do a reality show called Road Trip from Hell. And it's like, I want to pair people like, I don't know, Ted Nugent and Ingrid Newkirk from PETA and force them to run the country. I will do the pilot with Weiner. And the two of us will travel the country, and I'll show him my America. He can show me his America. We'll figure out what we, on Sirius Radio. They'll help sponsor it. We'll find out what music we have in common. It'll be sponsored by Hotwire. We'll pick our hotels as we go around, and we'll see whether or not we can bring America back together.
That's a great idea. I don't see Weiner doing that. I don't see him being happy.
I'm just that offer is out there, and I'm saying that utterly seriously. Congressman Weiner, you and me, road trip. We'll go see bands down in the South, bar bands. We'll do everything. We'll go to baseball games together.
Nice.
Sit out in the bleachers.
Who used to tour? Timothy Leary and G. Gordon Liddy, I think?
I grew up watching that. I love street theater. I love performance art.
Yeah.
Let's do it, baby.
Larry Flint and...
right.
And I think... was it Pat Robertson or it was one of those guys? No, Jerry Falwell? I think, and also Larry Flint was involved with Jimmy Carter's sister, I think, who was very religious.
Yeah.
And they became good friends because she was totally against what he did in his pornography. But he heard her, and she listened to him, and they just became friends. And
once
they
you
didn't
sit
agree.
down and actually talk to these people, that's something. That's an idea. Just get them cruising around.
Let's do it.
Like together where they can't really get apart from each other.
You have nothing to lose, Congressman.
Look how happy he is.
You can only go up.
I know.
Well,
Andrew's very happy.
10 days. Well,
great, man.
He destroyed my family's Memorial Day weekend. When I was being attacked
you were
as the hacker.
You were the hacker.
Excuse me while I gloat.
When he apologized, yes, I want to apologize to Andrew Breitbart. That for you must have just been
by the way, my
amazing.
Publicist is listening. I am the worst in the world. My book, Righteous Indignation, Excuse Me While I Save the World, tells the story of what we just went through. It's how you take on the mainstream media. I call it the Democrat media complex, the natural alliance of the Democratic Party, liberal interest groups, and the mainstream media.
Yeah.
And I say, this is how you take them on with new media. You can beat the old media with the tricks that I did. This is a how-to book. This is how we're going to do it. Buy video cameras, okay, and go out there and expose these corrupt bastards.
And I wish, again, the point is that none of them are honest about being biased. I argue with people all the time because they're like, why do you go on Fox? And I'm on Fox a lot. And it's like, well, they don't censor me there. Hannity treats me great. Gutfeld and Red Eye guys treat me great.
Yeah.
They don't fuck with what I'm doing. How could you go on that network? I'm like, well, you go on biased networks on CNN, they just don't think the other networks are biased.
They don't think MSNBC is biased.
I don't get it.
Is that crazy?
Worst.
Is that crazy?
That
I
one's
don't
the
think
worst.
I can live. I honestly almost want these people who believe that. I admit that Fox leans to the right.
Sure.
Okay. Why can't they admit that the MSNBC is hard left
So
and
hard
unapologetic,
left.
and if they can't admit that basic thing, I'm not sure that they can drive. I'm not sure that they can do any handle babies.
Andrew, can we scoot you to that seat because Vincent D'Onofrio is going to be here?
Oh
and
no,
he's-
this guy is a huge fan. I guarantee.
Yeah.
This guy
Yeah,
loves conservatives.
We were kind of saying that before you got here.
Yeah, just
He's the complete opposite, right?
Is he conservative?
Is he going to punch me?
Or he's really left.
is he?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Oh, that should be fun.
No, it'll be fun. Yeah, we'll see what he has to say.
Oh boy.
Hey, look, fizzy. Yeah, that's. I've never. I actually saw him once at a Q&A after a screening of Full Metal Jacket.
Wow.
And it was pretty cool. It was Matthew Modine, him, and one other person, maybe Cowboy or something.
Adam Baldwin is a close friend.
Animal
Mother.
Yeah.
Animal Mother.
Yeah,
Full Metal
He was
Jacket.
also in My Bodyguard.
Yeah,
I was stunned. He follows me on Twitter. I was like, "Oh, that's the
Who
coolest
does?
fucking thing." Animal Mother there.
Oh,
yeah.
does he? Adam Baldwin?
Yeah, Adam
Oh,
Baldwin.
he's very conservative.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
I read his stuff and I'm like, wow.
He's an intellect too.
Yeah.
He's a self-taught guy. He was a liberal too, like I was, and he just started reading all this stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like David Mamet, whose new book just came out. That is just absolutely. If you're out there and you want to read the best book ever, it's called The Secret Knowledge, and it is just one hit to the head after another. It's just unbelievable.
So you were liberal initially?
Like in the shallowest way you possibly could growing up in college, where I just said the reflexive things that you were supposed to do, like
Rush
Limbaugh's a racist, every single thing that and I believed it.
All the catchphrases.
Yeah, I just had the catchphashs, and so when I hear the catchphrases now, I go, I know, I used to say them too, and I didn't even know why I believed them.
You didn't. You had no idea why you had that
Not
mindset.
really. Well, I mean, there's such a constant reinforcement in that world. Like, I don't know, women. You're like, hey, yeah, absolutely, man. Carter, he's for peace in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Like,
suck
and
my
the next
dick.
thing you know, you're in bed. How did that happen?
Wow, I never would have had you pegged.
Hi, I'm a conservative and I have strong moral values. Would you like to sleep with me?
No,
it doesn't work as
Just
well.
makes you sound like you're going to be a stiff.
Yeah.
Not literally.
Right.
Figuratively a stiff in the sack. Man.
Okay.
Oh, okay, Glenn Close is walking around too.
Of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
We're talking about social causes. Like let's put our dispossessed people together. Let's have a mixer.
I'd love to know what that conversation is.
But everybody loves it. Glenn Close is Glenn Close. Everybody knows her. It's like there's no
but
actor that wouldn't stop.
She's really
Is she?
far left too. Oh yeah.
A lot of people in Hollywood
a
are.
big Obama
There's a book
supporter.
coming out
I've
about.
heard that.
But I mean, it's bizarre how
I've
that
heard-
mentality is all. I don't understand why.
I think it's the more out of I really think the more out of touch you are, and the more elitist you are, it just drives you in that direction.
Nah, there's something with the mentality that causes you to go into that job. It's it's like a certain part of the brain you use. I'm not saying a better or
Oh,
worse
you're
part.
saying it's the other way around, like that type of thing makes you go into the
I don't know.
the arts.
I just don't know.
As it were.
I really don't know. But there is a reason for it. Like so many artists or musicians or actors all lean that same way.
I used to agree with you on that, and I wrote a book in 2004 that was like an attack on celebrity culture, and that's what I thought. But what I now know, and I know thousands of conservatives in Los Angeles who have started to find each other, is that conservatives do exist. There are punk rockers, there are artists, there are every possible stripe you can imagine, brand names who you perceive to be liberal.
Right.
Your brain has tricked you to believe that they're liberal because of something that they said at an event, but they are not. And the reason why is the same reason that you don't hear a lot of people saying they don't like Castro in Cuba. They're going to lose their jobs. You're not allowed to go off the island. It is a totalitarian system.
Yeah.
Hey,
Oh, there we go.
pleasure.
Pleasure.
How you doing, Vincent?
D'Onofrio, how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Anthony?
Wow.
How you doing?
Hi.
Take a seat. That's Andrew.
And that's Opie.
Likewise.
You know Andrew Breitbart?
No.
Oh, okay.
Husky male model. They saw
Yes.
some photos
Husky
of
male
me
model.
in Belgium, and they said, we got to get this guy across the sea to talk.
Well, you're looking good for a male model.
Yeah. Big
Little
bone.
sweaty, but
Yeah, sweaty and big bones.
You're all right. It is blazing hot out there. Vincent D'Onofrio, how you doing? Good, I hope.
Good.
What do they got you roaming around for? The last season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we shot the last 8 episodes.
Last 8 episodes. They brought you back,
Yeah.
which is kind of cool. What'd you leave for in the first place?
I was done.
Were you done?
Yeah.
You'd had it. You wanted to move on.
Yeah, but you work for somebody like Dick Wolf for so long, and the show was in trouble, and he gave me a call and asked me to come back and finish it off with 8 because he just didn't want it to end in a bad way. And we shot 8. They started to air a few weeks ago, and we've got some of the highest ratings in cable television.
Wow. There's a little connection here. My girlfriend actually was in one of the episodes, the one with Jay Moore. You know, Jay Moore played some kind of a
Charlie
lunatic.
Sheen.
Yeah.
Charlie Sheen character.
Yeah, he played that lunatic designer guy.
Yeah.
Well, she was actually in one of the photographs that were on the wall behind.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it
So-
was funny.
his office
She was in there. Yeah. She was in for she did a whole shoot with Jay Moore and stuff, and some of the filming stuff. So we were watching, and she goes, "I end up on a wall in a room." I was like, "Yeah, well, that's how it
what
works."
happens.
And my connection is I've
hilarious.
done half of the things you guys have covered criminally.
That's a good
I
thing.
auditioned one time for Law and Order, and because all comedians have at least gone out for it, and I had to play like a porno store guy. And
How'd that work out for you?
It obviously not well. I didn't get the part.
Couldn't do it?
But yeah, for me not to be able to play that well is just kind of humiliating.
When you moved on from the show, what were you looking to do? What do you want to get back into movies or just relax?
Yeah, no, I'm going to go off and do a Jennifer Lynch film in a couple of weeks, and I'm going to,
Yeah,
I've
you'll
got
still be
3
around,
kids,
obviously.
so it's tough. But I guess the idea is I sold my first film that I wrote and directed to Tribeca Films, which will be released in the winter, and it's called Don't Go in the Woods, and we're going into pre-production in another one for the next one in September. So, I'm doing my own thing, and I'm just going to do what I did before the show, is just do character roles in films. Like I always did.
When you act, it's like acting and I talk to all real actors about it. It's a very hard thing to do. I mean, you know what's really hard in acting? Standing and listening to somebody talk. Dude, that's like,
And making it look authentic.
dude,
That's because you do radio, dude.
No,
You
but I
just can sit here.
But
Doesn't matter.
I'm a stand-up, and it's like I've gone on plenty of acting auditions, and it's like when you're talking to someone, you have to stand and act like you're listening. You just like, I'm stiff, I'm not moving, I'm dying in the scene, I'm not doing anything. It's very hard to do.
It's not that hard.
That's the difference between
not
him
that
and me.
First of all, you don't act like you listen. You listen. Just listen.
But how do you listen? This like right now we're listening to each other because we're both talking live for the first time. The key is making it seem like you've never heard it before.
You mean like now?
Right. That's exactly it. That's the hard part of once you okay. All right, we screwed that up. The key is making it seem like
Now look at his hands. He's doing this.
I admire great acting. It's so difficult to do, and it looks so easy. But it's those little things that are hard to do.
Well, I understand what you mean. I feel similar. And when I see great actors work, I'm astounded every time. So I get it.
Vincent, I've always wanted to ask an actor this. How did Bronson Pinchot do that?
What did he do?
The Bronson Pinchot stuff.
I don't know what you're talking about. Not only do I not know who you are, I don't know what you're talking about.
He, like when we played Bilky or something, and he was like,
That was his genius.
yeah.
That was his
no, he
genius
was really
coming
good
through.
at
I
that
couldn't
thing.
do that.
I actually worked with him one time. He's an awesome
That's
guy.
what I was
Did you?
asking.
What'd you work with him
Oh, I
on?
see. Now I get what you're saying.
Okay.
He did the show once.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that was his thing. He was able to do all this bizarre stuff and get away with it.
Did he play bad guy?
Yeah, he did. He
on the
played a
show?
really
Yeah.
nasty character.
Yeah, I think he really wanted to step away from that Belky thing. Yeah.
In acting, can you just simply go in there and be yourself, reading yourself, and get away with it? and just like
A lot of people do. A lot of
Yeah.
people make careers out of it.
Yeah.
I think Walken does that at this point now, where he's such an interesting guy. It's like you don't need to see Walken become somebody else. Like Gary Oldman, you see Gary Oldman, and it's like he's Oswald, or he's this white Jamaican drug dealer. But Walken was also so interesting. It's like I want to see what Walken does as him. He's so you don't look at him to become someone else. You want to see him doing something. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, I mean, Chris is a good example. I mean, I just did a film with Chris called Kill the Irishman, which is out and did very well in the theaters and just came out on DVD. And you know, Chris is the kind of guy who has this background of doing incredible performances in his career. I mean, if you think about his performance in Deer Hunter,
Yeah.
you know, that's one of the things that inspired me to be an actor was that performance. There's a scene when he's at the hospital after he gets wounded, and he has this monologue. He's sitting on a fence, a gate of a porch of one of the hospitals, and he has this monologue, and they're asking him about his mother's name. They ask him his mother's name.
Oh, right.
Do you remember that?
Can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an incredible scene. You know, and so you think, and a lot like De Niro too, who landed all these great roles when he was young and did incredible performances. So that you see these guys now, and you know, they don't have the opportunity to do those kind of parts anymore. But they are still those guys that did those incredible performances that even today nobody can match. You know, like, so when I hang out with Chris Walken, all I see is this artist who did this incredible stuff, you know, in his career, and so he's always that to me.
When you watch a film, I mean, you got, obviously everybody knew you. The first exposure we had to you was in Full Metal Jacket, and it was such a, I mean, it was one of those things where, were you afraid you would not be able to be seen as anything but that? Because it was such a powerful, I mean, it was a Kubrick film, and it was such a powerful role. I mean, that's the most memorable thing in the movie, is your behavior, your character.
When I did that part, I was too young to think that deep into it.
Really?
You know, yeah, honestly, I just thought I was happy for not being fired. And I hope I get another job, but I didn't know it was going on. I came back here to the city and started bouncing again in bars.
You just didn't think it was going to be a big thing.
By the way, that's exactly what Adam Baldwin said about the part in Full Metal Jacket you're talking about. Yeah, he said I was too young to even understand what was going on.
Yeah, we were all very young.
Kubrick just grabbed a bunch of kids and threw them in there. And did you find him as
I think the only one that truly understood what was going on was Modine, because he had done several really good films before that film.
Yeah.
And he's a smart dude, and he was more experienced. With that, I'll speak for myself. Definitely more experienced in film than I was at the time.
Was he good to work? Who do we have in recent? Oh, we had Malcolm McDowell. Who do we have? Malcolm.
Who also did my show, Malcolm.
Was he on Law and Order?
Yeah, he did.
I'm sure everyone.
Everybody
at this point, everyone has done Law and Order. Right?
He said that the myth about Stanley doing 80 takes or whatever. He said, like, he was talking about the scene in Clockwork Orange with the eyes. He said that did 10 takes maybe. He said it wasn't.
Yeah, I don't know where that came. Well, actually, I do know where it came. There was an actor, I won't say who, that did 70-something takes on Criminal Intent. I mean, not on Criminal Intent. On Full Metal Jacket. So Stanley, I did see Stanley do that with an actor.
Was it the actor screwing up, or
but
was
Matthew and I think definitely me. I averaged, from 5 to 7 takes, stuff like that. I mean, nothing out of your ordinary.
Crazy.
My favorite unsung hero from Full Metal Jacket, who never gets the play he deserves, is, what's that, some tiny thick joke? That guy was the greatest, that old school colonel. Oh, was he fantastic? Was he like a real military guy? He couldn't be an actor, that guy. He looks like an old school military dude.
He was like an actor from here, yeah.
And Arlie Ermy was a real DI.
Yeah.
But was he an actor? Because he did Mississippi Burning after. He's done a bunch of stuff.
He had done something before that.
Oh, he
too.
had.
Boys and Company C.
Boys and Company C.
Yeah.
He did that, and obviously he's playing the
yeah.
DI
But he started
and
on our show on Full Metal Jacket. He started as the technical advisor,
and then he just turned out being
He was so great.
good at it.
right?
I remember seeing you after Full Metal Jacket, and that's all I had seen you in up till then. And then you were in, I guess, Adventures in Babysitting.
Right.
You played Thor,
yeah.
with the hammer.
Best movie ever. I'm not kidding you. I tell my kids to this day, I can't explain to you why this is the best movie I've ever seen.
It's hilarious.
It's unbelievable.
I couldn't figure out who you were, though.
The Thor girl
I'm
is
looking.
unbelievable. That girl is the best actor I've ever seen. I don't care what anyone says.
The little girl, you mean?
Yeah, she's unbelievable. In
Yeah, that was
I've never
hysterical.
believed a part of my life like that. And Elizabeth Shue in that movie is the most attractive person I've ever seen.
She's always been very pretty.
She's
I
never
was-
been unattractive, Elizabeth Shue.
No, I
Leaving
know.
Las Vegas, she was really sexy. She's always great.
I was looking at you in that, and the face, I was like, I know who that is, but I can't place it.
Right.
Because obviously you would... did you gain weight for the role?
Yeah, back then, yeah.
But since no one had seen you really that much beforehand, they just knew you as that. So I'm like, this guy's in shape and everything. I was like, holy fuck, that's Private Pile.
Yeah, I did. I think I did Mystic Pizza before I did Adventures in Babysitting.
Oh, you did?
It might have
Okay.
come out first. I'm not sure which one came out first, but I waited 7 months to take off the weight, and then I started to audition again for...
Was that tough taking the
for
weight
other
off,
parts.
or you just kids, so you just don't eat
I
and
think
run
it was
around?
I put it on so quickly, and I was really knew what to do already to get it off. So it was hard. It wasn't,
What? Tell us.
Hell.
Well, I mean, I was back then. I was young. We were all young one time, and it was, I used to run 11 miles like every other day,
Like it was
in
nothing.
New York, right here in New York,
Really?
I mean, I can't even think about doing that now. I
Yeah.
mean, we used to, I was active. I was an active guy when I was younger, and so. It took a while to get it off safely and stuff. I didn't want to starve myself or anything silly. So I just did it the right way, and I waited. And I did get offered a couple of bad guys into films during that period that they wanted that kind of look that was in Full Metal Jacket, but I just didn't do them. And I waited, and then I got Mystic Pizza, and that was the first part that I got at my normal size, and I got to play a different kind of character, and then they asked me to do that Thor thing, and then I went and did that, and then I just started to work steady after that.
Yeah. Did you? When did everybody start realizing, like, oh, we got something there with Full Metal Jacket? I think this is going to be a classic.
I think Kubrick pretty much takes care of that on its own. It's just you work with him, and whether you like the movie or not, it's going to be interesting for sure.
Did you like it?
Full Metal Jacket?
Yeah.
I love Full Metal
Good,
Jacket.
good. I was hoping you would say you would, because you said that. I was like, oh, please don't dislike Full Metal Jacket.
Please don't dislike
No,
that'll
Adventures in
hurt.
Babysitting. Please tell me you don't like it.
The Blu-ray one came out. I do like that movie, actually. Yeah. It's in fact, it's one of the only ones that my kids can see. So that I.
Oh, hey, yeah, that's
How
true.
old are they?
Good parenting.
Well, I've got the 19-year-old.
Do you have them locked up this week in New York over Wienergate?
Oh, jeez.
No. Well, I don't talk to them about Wienergate at all. No.
No.
How old
no.
are they?
Well,
I do with my kids.
my daughter's 19.
You're responsible.
and she's in Australia. She wouldn't know about Wiener. So, but I have an 11-year-old son and a 3-year-old son.
How old till they can see Full Metal Jacket? Like 16, 17, before you're like, oh, you can...
I think my son, with the video games and everything, will be able to see it next week by the time he's like 14.
Yeah, Call of Duty.
okay.
Yeah.
Start playing Call of
Yeah.
Duty. It's like, don't worry
Call of
about it.
Duty's
My
a lot
11-year-old
rougher
has
than
seen it.
Yeah.
And he loved it.
My father's ex-military, ex-Marine. He goes bananas for that fucking film. He just,
Well, it just came out on Blu-ray, and I watched the. I'm not interested in seeing the first half because it's. I just don't like doing that. But
Which is interesting,
I watched
'cause
the
some people
second
watch the
half.
first
Most people love the first. That's
Yeah.
weird. Over the
do you
second.
not like watching yourself act?
Yeah, I think it's odd. I think
Yeah.
it's weird to watch yourself do your performance. It's like it kind of gives you like an ill feeling. But the second half is so amazing, and I remember seeing the first. I remember the first time I saw it on the big screen, and this Blu-ray version of it is exactly what I remember seeing. Because up until this Blu-ray version, I was questioned. It was always a question in my mind whether the framing was right and whether the colorization was right. And this second half, for sure, I know, is exactly the way it looks to me. Exactly the way Stanley showed it the first time.
What's the framing, do you mean? Because didn't he shoot like Strangelove in a couple of different ways? He shot, it's hard, like when you watch Letterbox, sometimes even in a Kubrick Letterbox, it will be like a full screen thing.
See, the thing is that because of televisions and because of different choices you get on DVDs of to what frame you want to use. People are messing with their own frames all the time, and a lot of times people don't even know they're seeing a movie because of their TV is set on the wrong ratio, in the wrong ratio. They're seeing the movie in the wrong ratio. Well, the way that I saw it on this DVD Blu-ray, it was the correct ratio, and it was just incredible.
We talk about that all the time, and how a director must want to pull his friggin' hair out when he looks at what they do to their movies to fit, especially, old school 4:3 televisions.
Right.
It's just got to be horrid for a director. I worked that hard, and you're cutting off both sides of my movie.
It's a tough thing, and like I said, these fancy schmancy televisions that are out, you can change the ratio on your screen. You don't even know that you've done it.
Yeah,
and it's got to be an odd thing,
Did you turn down? It says allegedly, because sometimes our prep sheets are wrong, more times than not. Did you turn down a role in The Sopranos?
People say that. I had talks with David Chase, and I would have loved to have done a role in The Sopranos. I just couldn't afford to do it.
Oh, the finances weren't right, and you had something else going on.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, if I had done that and not done Criminal Intent, I can't imagine having not done Criminal Intent for 10 years, and so it's a little strange to answer the question. But there was conversations between David Chase and I. I remember being very honest with him, because I would have loved to have been on that show. The writing was so good, especially when it was a young show. It was amazing. David Chase was amazing, and whoever he had working for him at the time, it was amazing stuff. But I remember having a conversation in my kitchen with him, and I just, HBO wasn't, paying very much.
Yeah. Okay.
When you
I would have to sell my house to do that show. In fact, I think I told him that.
When you do a role, when you look at a script for the first time, do you immediately get memorize it, and as they say, get off book with it? Or a lot of guys don't do that.
Using like fancy actor terms.
Yeah, that's why I said a lot of guys say off book. I'm sure,
Jimmy. I'm surprised you're not a good actor. You
Yeah,
handled the
you know
off
what I
book
mean.
thing really well.
I'm not a bad actor, but no matter what the scene is, I raise my hand in proclamation form when I'm speaking, and that tends to take a lot of people out of the moment.
Even that was good.
Yes, a lot of people tell me I wave like royalty. I've been told.
All right.
Do you because like they say De Niro won't memorize everything, and he won't do it in character when he's rehearsing because he doesn't want to have like ingrained mistakes or get a bad habit with a role. Like he'll just kind of say it during rehearsals.
Yeah.
Or do you immediately know what you want to do with it and kind of start telling?
You have to know the text, obviously. You have to know the words. So I guess if you're asking me what I do, I read the script over and over and over again, and I try not to memorize anything. And you certainly don't ever memorize a line the way you think you're going to act it, like with the inflections and everything in it. You don't do that, because then you're locked into a certain way of doing it, and that's just bad acting. You want to know all the words, but not plan too much. You want to know the history of your character. You want to know all the words. You want to, if you're doing a character actor like I do a lot, you want to have all the layers of your character in you and ready to go, your posture, your voice. It's like juggling 2 balls or 5 balls. You can pick how many balls you want to juggle while the camera's rolling, And so you have all that stuff set, but as far as the words of the author, you wait. I wait, and I know them, but I don't know how I'm going to say them. I know what they're going to sound like, how my character's going to sound, and how he's going to move and stuff. But I don't. If you lock yourself in, you're finished acting. Like if you lock yourself into the way you're going to say your line, then your job's over. You want your job to be evolving the whole time, because you have to react. You don't know how the other actors are going to do what they're going to do and stuff.
I was just thinking about listening. He said about listening is so important. If you kind of, I guess, know how you're going to say it, then regardless of what they say, your reaction is currently built in, so you can't really
Correct.
listen.
You also don't know what the director is going to want. You may know what he wants, kind of, but then when the director sees the scene, directors, in my experience, they know more once they've seen it, so they add to it.
Do you like a more hands-on director or somebody that lets you
I've worked with all the different. Stanley didn't talk about story or anything at all. He didn't say anything. Yeah.
He just kind of let you do it until he liked what he saw?
Exactly. He would just say, it's not right, do it again.
That's what I heard from, even Malcolm said the same thing. He kind of was hands-off.
He didn't want to talk about anything. But he would give you clues, I've told this story before, but when I was walking. We were going to shoot the bathroom scene in Full Metal Jacket, the big scene where I kill the sergeant and then myself.
I don't remember that scene.
You just ruined the film for me.
Spoiler alert.
Thanks. Thanks a lot.
It's only like 20 years old. I remember going to walking out into the parking lot. Stanley was walking to his car, and I was walking to mine. And he said to me, "Do you know what you're going to do tomorrow?" We were going to shoot the scene the next morning. And I said, I think so. And he used to clear his throat. You know, he was like a Jewish guy from the Bronx.
Yeah.
Know, he was. He was awesome, smart guy. I got to tell you. But he would clear. He'd always go when he talked. You know. And he said, "Do you know what you're going to do tomorrow?" And I said, I think so. And he started to walk away, and then he stopped, and I could hear his throat clear. So I knew he was going to say something else. So I turned, and he said, "It has to be, whatever you do, it has to be big. It has to be Lon Chaney big." That's what he said to me. And he got in his car, and he left.
Wow, Lon Chaney big.
Yeah.
And it kind of comes off a little Lon Chaney-ish.
Yeah. So he definitely knew how to inspire his actors, you know. But, you know, there are other directors that want to talk about every scene, every little thing and whatever. And, you know, you use what you understand. You know, it's hard to understand somebody else's vision, but you use whatever you can to, you know, try and do that.
That clipped, horrifying speech. The music they put in, the little, at the very low music, at the, whatever they put was terrible impression of the music, but it was great, the underlying, but that clipped speech, it was horrifying. It really
and that
was.
combined with the Kubrick look, that whole look he did.
And talk about reading the moment wrong. Fucking Sergeant Hartman. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, hey,
boy, did you
tact.
not realize what? Yeah, could you mellow out a little bit? Be nice to him for once.
A little tact.
Yeah, that was a guy who really was committed to the cause. They're saying we have to get, we have to wrap. Let's promote. Vincent's obviously here promoting the Blu-ray of Full Metal Jacket, and everybody knows Law and Order: Criminal Intent. It's the final season. It's Sundays, 9 o'clock.
They're great shows
On USA. You're happy with the final 8?
Of the best shows I think we've done. I know that the crew and the actors and the producer, Mary Ray Thulis, and the showrunner, Chris Brancato, it's the most fun that we've had. Those 8 were the most fun we've had in 10 years.
That's
very
great,
cool.
Man. And of course, Andrew Breitbart. He's the guy. He's the guy that broke open the Wienergate thing.
Oh, yeah, you're that guy.
He took.
Now I know I haven't felt like I liked him the whole time. My intuition works every time.
I was kind of thinking, it's like, all right, we got Breitbart in here.
Hardcore leftist intuition.
Every time. Scoot my chair over a little bit. Jesus, I had no idea.
Yeah, that's
you know, when Italians feel it in their left arm, you know, when something's up, and all the whole time my left arm is starting. Something's going on
there.
That? Oh, all right.
Oh, shit. Right. Now I obviously you're more of a,
I'm like the Margaret Mead of liberals. I could have predicted that response.
Is there a partition? That you could slide in there?
Now, obviously, I know through your history and stuff, politically, you're a little more left-leaning than I would say Andrew
Well, I'm
is.
actually not that political, but but I am on the left side, yeah.
Yeah. Have you, what about Adam Baldwin? Have you read any of his stuff on Twitter? Because he's
one of my
very
closest
conservative.
friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a wonderful guy.
Yeah,
Great family guy.
Yeah, Adam is an awesome guy.
Yeah.
No, and I haven't read anything, and I have no idea what Adam's political stuff is.
It is odd that people can just get along so well with every aspect except politics.
Well, look, I actually, all joking aside, I do lean to the left, but I also work with a lot of
Weiner.
Right.
Yeah. See, I don't find that kind of stuff funny at all.
No.
No. And I just think the whole thing is in poor taste. But my point is this, is that I work with attorney generals around the country for law enforcement, and a lot of them are Republicans. And I actually agree with a lot that they're trying to do for law enforcement and stuff, and I do as much as can. I travel all over the country and to Washington.
And you have a charity too that
the Meth Cops Project. I also am the face of the National Law Enforcement Museum that they're building in Washington. I had the campaign with John Shanks on that. I do a lot of stuff for Republican guys. I'm take a stand, and I'm not one of the kind of actor that's going to speak out about the Democrats.
Not a Sean Penn type.
No, it's just not my personality to do that. I like to. I think of things in a moral way more than I do in a political way.
Mm-hmm. Didn't you say some untoward things about President Bush?
Who, me?
Yeah.
What did I say?
I think that there have been a lot of things out there. I'm just asking you.
I might have when he was president. Yeah, I don't know. What did I say?
I could.
If I said something clever, I want to know what it is. Because I doubt I said something
clever like he's equal to Hitler or something cute.
Oh,
like
I don't
that.
think I said that.
Okay.
I know what I did do one time in Australia. They asked me for a song that I thought related to George Bush. It was on a radio station, and I picked "They're Coming to Take Me Away." Do you remember that song?
Yeah,
I think that's the worst thing I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, that's the worst
Lunatics,
thing.
Yeah.
But if you have better stuff, tell me.
I would.
Honestly,
I know.
tell me.
I'd like to. I'm going to go get my iPad.
We have to wrap
We're
up, though,
wrapping up.
unfortunately. I wish we had hours. Oh, shit.
What did he say?
He went ha ha.
Jesus Christ.
And do you know, this is what a self-centered asshole I am. The whole time this is happening is like, all I care about is I don't want their argument to affect Vincent liking me. That's all I care about.
What argument?
I'm teasing you.
No argument. You guys, Jesus Christ. So you're on opposite ends of
love me.
the spectrum.
Actors love him.
Yes, they do.
I love you.
Andrew.
I'm a comic. I'm not an actor, but I love you.
Thank you.
I was drinking with Andrew the other night, having a couple of wines after I taped Red Eye, and had a few things on the Wienergate thing. So we had a little chat about it. So
Well, it's
genuine
definitely a
enough
conversation that needs to be had. I think.
Well, you know what?
Definitely
know.
is. I mean, it's certainly not something to just
Another guy that tripped over his own.
He cannot say with certainty that he wasn't having these conversations with underage girls. That's deeply problematic.
Well, I thought that it was definitely a problem when he started to sound like he had like a catalog of pictures of his thing, but he didn't know how they got to it. That was the weird thing to me. That I thought I was in Utah at the time, doing stuff for law enforcement, and I thought, okay, so tomorrow he's going to admit that it's his thing. You knew that it was coming.
Right, he's got to.
Yeah, I wish that when they get caught doing these silly things, which I think that's all it really is, it's just silly. I think that they should just admit it, because
the lie is always worse than the event.
Dude, in this day and age, if you're going to do things like that, then you should expect you're going to get caught. And when you do get caught, fess up right away, and we'll deal with it a lot easier.
Because now you got that and the lie. Problem.
Yeah, break down and cry. Say you're sorry the minute they catch you. And people, like Sutherland said in JFK, people are suckers for the truth.
I thought we learned that lesson with Clinton.
Oh my God! There's a whole line of Jesus.
What?
Did you get something nice?
I think he's got something.
Come on, say it.
No, is it a photo?
Take a look.
We could just see the photo. I mean, there's no camera.
You'll see Jimmy.
You want to?
Yeah.
That's the famous.
I do.
Oh my God. Let's see. That's the famous.
That's the real one?
Wow.
Yeah.
That's really his?
Yeah.
He sent that?
To Andrew.
It's Andrew.
Who did he send it to?
To a gal down in Texas.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
It's a good angle, though. It's a smart guy, but I tell you,
He's in very good
All
shape.
I can say is, from seeing that picture, I want that guy as mayor. Because he is loaded.
That is what is called the atomic bomb, though. That's the one.
Yeah, well, that's the one that's going to kill everything.
but
they can't show that on television, though.
No,
that is true. They can't.
But on the internet, they could under an explicit.
I think that anybody sees this photo should elect this guy for mayor in New York.
Yeah.
Because he's definitely well equipped.
He's well equipped for the job. You need a good set when you're running this city.
You do.
Wow, wait. Go ahead, take a look.
Wowee.
Opie.
Do you know?
By the way, I'm not releasing it. I can't think of any other publication that wouldn't. I could probably get a gazillion hits off of my page. I'm not doing that to him and his family. That's my stated position.
You're awesome for that. Thank you. Seriously, it's awesome.
You get everybody. I have.
You
lunatic.
I gotta say. say,
yes, Jim, as an expert.
Believe me,
Well, I just want to say it's the second time he's looked at the photo.
No.
He could have easily just passed it all the way back.
All right.
I'm at 17. What does that mean?
Fair enough. He makes a good point. I really did stop and look again, like there was a change going to occur. There really wasn't.
I just got to see.
Go ahead.
There was a change.
I just got to see for a second. It is a good angle, I would say. It's a good angle. What would you say? Good angle?
Don't show it anywhere.
No. Good angle?
Oh, you're crazy.
I would think it's because it's underneath.
Here you go, buddy.
Yeah. That's right.
That is the angle you should. That is the angle you should take.
Well, I think that breaches, I think. I mean, don't we all feel that in the end? I'm not sure if you feel this way, sir, but I think that most people, I know that my wife and I think that most husbands and wives and couples and friends are having the same conversation that we're having right now.
Sure.
And
No, they're not.
I think that a lot of people are actually,
I'm kidding.
and I think that one of the things that's always said in a conversation like that is, at some point you have to say this guy did this stuff, but it is his personal choice to do that
Vincent,
stuff.
can I pose to you something here? And there, I can think off the top of my head more Republicans who've engaged in this type of stupidity. Off the top of my head, Larry Craig and Mark Foley, and this is not a partisan thing. I've never bought the "it's just about sex," and tell me where I'm wrong thinking here. If this girl or another girl has this picture from a congressman, a complete stranger, just he sent it, and she now can say to him, do you want this photo to go public? You can see how he was reacting over the last weeks to try and frantically cover his career. I need you to vote this way on this bill. They're putting themselves into a position where they can so easily be blackmailed. They have to
so easily,
Yes, and that's the problem that I have with this.
That is a big problem. But I will say though that, as we all know as grown men, that we don't know the true circumstances that led to any of these photos. We weren't there in the room when he was communicating with whoever he was communicating with.
The six girls?
We don't know anything about what this guy thinks in his head and how he gets into these.
I don't think it's that deep, though.
Conversations.
I think
Why
it's
does
guys
it matter? The act itself is manifestly.
I know through my experience in life being an actor and trying to explore people in general, you can't really judge anybody unless you live with them, you know them, and
I never lived with Hitler.
You know how that happened.
Yeah, well, I've dated him a few times.
Hitler didn't send pictures of his penis.
Indeed, he
It's
did.
different.
Indeed, he did.
Did you ever think you'd have to ever say that?
I know, but it's actually a good line.
It really is.
It'd be a good autobiography for Anthony Weiner.
It's a great title of a book.
Well, look, we got to wrap up.
Well, Vincent's got to go.
Yeah, Vincent's got to
late
go.
to his next
He's got a lot of places to be.
I do.
I got to thank
That's
you
what they're
guys so
telling
much.
us.
Vincent, thanks so much
Law
for
and
coming.
Order.
I've been a huge fan, man.
It's on Sundays, 9 o'clock on USA, the final season.
Thanks.
Vincent shot the final 8 episodes, and you could tell that he's genuinely happy with them.
Absolutely,
And,
yeah.
you know, I don't need to promote Law and Order. You all know the show.
Yeah.
And of course, you know,
And
Breitbart's
Andrew,
website.
you want to plug your site?
Righteous indignation. Excuse
Book.
me while I save the world.
Righteous Indignation. Excuse me while I
My
save the world.
book.
Get it at Amazon or I'm sure any book. And of course, what website you want people to check in?
BigGovernment.com, big
Government.
journalism, big Hollywood, where you can read everything you want about the great Vincent D'Onofrio.
Did you stop it?
I'm serious. I like this guy. I like
He is great.
I like your acting a lot. I do.
Fantastic. I know.
Yeah.
All right, gentlemen.
All right, we
and
gotta get
the
outta
rest of the
here.
show, take it easy.
Thank you guys very much.
Take
Thanks,
care, man.
Vincent. Andrew, thank you.
Rob tell him, Fred. I invented everything.
What was the last word that was said today? That ought to hold the little fuckers.